All right, so first off, good evening. My name is Jonathan Rich. I'm the CEO of W.T. Rich Company. We're thrilled to be here today. You notice we crossed out the project name, and we know there's an exciting new name coming that we hope to assist you with. So we're thrilled to be here today. We really are. Our goal of our presentation is to convey to you our capabilities, our approach, our enthusiasm, and our commitment for ensuring that this project is a success. We have a lot to cover. Our presentation is about 32 minutes, so we'll just have to go through that as quickly as we can. If you have questions in the middle, please feel free to jump in and we'll go from there. So just to go through the structure of the presentation real quickly. So we're going to do kind of what I call the foundation. We like to start talking about W.T. Rich's vision. It's important to us. We hope it'll be important to you. Team's going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to talk about our specific experience and why it's relevant for the Wilmington School Project. We don't know whether to say Wildwood or something else, but we'll just say Wilmington for now. You asked us to talk about 3 challenges. We don't love the word challenges, so we focus on strategic priorities. These are the types of obstacles we've faced before. We feel very comfortable in dealing with those. So we're going to talk about community management, including support the vote as the first priority. Occupied construction site is the second, and then the schedule is the third. We have some additional value-added areas, talking about how we're going to make sure you meet the budget. We talk about our expertise in sustainability and how we're going to bring that to the process. And then we have a very interesting program that helps with the performance of your building after occupancy to make sure that it works really well going forward. And then we'll just do a recap. All in 32 minutes, it's a quick Q&A session. So to talk about our vision, so W.T. Rich's vision is to be the best construction manager in the Massachusetts public building sector. When we share that, we don't say that as a boast or a brag. It's a mindset that we have. It's a commitment we have. And it's something we're always striving to do to really excel at every area of project delivery and to make sure that the team, the clients, and our construction partners are really thrilled with the work that we do. Enthusiasm and commitment. You're going to find out that our team has done we've watched a lot of recordings, we've sat in on SBC meetings, we really try to educate ourselves about your need and your project and your community. It's going to be really important. We know you're going to want to select a construction manager that you really feel is a true partner. And I think that's an area we really distinguish ourselves and we're proud of. And then this team we pulled together, I think an amazing team, really talented, specifically chosen for this project in terms of their skills, their experience, and their capabilities. They're chosen for their availability. And then also several have great geographic proximity for this project. So without further ado, we'll let the team.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Davida Flynn. I'm a project executive at W.T. Rich Company. I've spent the better part of the last 20 years in the Massachusetts public building sector with a primary focus on schools. In that time, I've constructed or renovated 22 schools, 19 of them for the MSBA, 18 of them with sustainability goals, and 13 elementary schools. When I say I love to build schools, I really, truly do. Quick random fact, I haven't taken a vacation in the summer in over 20 years because I will never make myself not available during the critical aspects of a project.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Barry. I'm the senior project manager for this project. I have 22 years of experience in the industry, and what I really focus on and bring to this team is occupied construction. This is a highly occupied site. I also bring you some fast track experience that we're going to get into later in this. Thank you.
All right, my name is not Mark Bryan. Mark Bryan is our proposed project manager. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. He had serious flu bug running through his home and it finally caught up with him. So he can't be here. Mark is a really powerful and effective project manager. He's got 20 years of construction experience. He's done numerous school projects, including occupied school projects. And he would have loved to have been here. He's so disappointed to not be here with all of you. So we apologize for that.
Good evening, Dan Blumberg, Senior Superintendent with W.T. Rich. Been in the construction industry for a little over 26 years now. Currently working on wrapping up my 5th school with W.T. Rich. Just looking forward to working with all of you guys.
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Farrell. I'm the Chief Estimator here at W.T. Rich. I estimated my first school project back in 2008. Since then, I've always been in this unique position where I get to see almost every project come across my desk. I want to bring that experience to the table and ensure that we stay on budget with your project.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry Cody. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications. I have 20 years of experience in the construction industry, and I'm really excited tonight to talk to you about the marketing resources we can provide for the Support the Vote process.
So just speaking of experience and relevance, WT Rich truly believes that we have the most relevant experience specific to your project's needs. 100% of the work that we do is Massachusetts public buildings work. Most of our competitors cannot say the same. 95% of those projects are Chapter 149A CM at risk. We are used to being brought on board early and working with the owner, the OPM, the architect, really understanding and developing the project. So we know you guys are getting what you need, and also we're on budget, we're on schedule, we've got logistics worked out. 80% of our projects are school construction. 80%, again, something most of our competitors cannot say. 50% of our projects are occupied construction. Half, not half of our schools, half of all of our projects are occupied construction sites. I'm gonna speak a little bit more about this in a minute. 47 sustainable building projects. I'll also speak about that a little bit later. And then the MSBA, when they kind of reorganized in 2004, changed their branding, we've completed 18 projects with them ever since. Again, we feel we have the most relevant experience for your project's needs. Talk a little bit more about the occupied construction. Again, half of our projects. What you see on this screen is only a small representation of the projects that we have completed on occupied sites. But the point of this slide is to show you, the green buildings are the new buildings that we have constructed. The blue is the existing occupied buildings. I mean, you can see from some of these, we were intimately involved with these people during the construction. If you take the Manchester Memorial Elementary School project at the top here, there were points where we were within 5 feet of an existing occupied school while we built the new school. I can assure you, during all of these projects and the other ones you don't see here, we had concerns in the beginning from parents, teachers, staff, the neighbors, the abutters. We listened to them. We understood their concerns. We did everything we could to minimize them. If you talk to any of these folks now, I guarantee that they will tell you we were trustworthy, we did what we said, and they had no real major issues. So sticking with that community, understanding what they need, what they want, what their concerns are, what their hopes are. Strategic priority number 1, community management. Supporting the vote and neighborhood management, multiple aspects of it. So really understanding your project, the needs, the wants, the whys on how it came to fruition is going to be critical in getting the word out and supporting the vote for this project. This is something we have done numerous times. Getting to your project's details though, I apologize. As John stated, we've already watched building committee meetings, community meetings. We're on the internet looking at things you've put out there. Forums, groups, I've liked a bunch of them. Like, we're really trying to understand your project's specific needs. We know from this information that we have to get the word out. We have to make sure the entire town is aware of the project so that everyone is participating in the vote. We also need to ensure that there's the divide that we kind of hear about, where some of the town doesn't believe that this project will serve the full. We want to be your partner, getting the word out about the project. We want to be your partner in ensuring the entire town that this project will serve the full community. The design team has already created a community wing with gathering space for activities. The 14-acre site, you've got open green space, athletic fields, playgrounds for multiple age groups. You are asking the town to come to this new complex and enjoy it. We want to be part of getting that word out. Our greatest area of contribution is going to be getting the confidence of the community that the project is needed and that we can deliver it safely, on schedule, on or under budget, with minimal negative impact, maximum positive impact, and superior quality. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Sherry to speak a little more about our specifics on Support the Vote.
Okay, I'm gonna get excited, so I'll try to, so marketing has a pretty good understanding of the critical steps that need to happen between now and September to ensure a successful vote. But more importantly, I want you to understand the resources we can provide, especially for the Yes Vote Committee. So we know, as you've seen, we know your project rename is critical. It's got to happen quickly. Bring us on board to brainstorm. We love brainstorming. We do it all the time. We did throw some options out just for fun to look at. We can also help with crafting messaging. design beautiful and impactful brochures and flyers to hand out to the community, drive social media campaigns, also assist in putting together community events and forums, basically anything the town needs to ensure a successful vote. My team and I are literally ready to jump on board.
So we've talked about the overall community management, getting the word out about the project, getting a positive result in the fall. We've talked about a little bit the students, the staff, we'll hear a little bit more about that. What I want to talk about right now is the immediate neighborhood, the abutters. There is a large group of them. I actually took the time to count all of the residents, Arlene and Dorothy. I went through all of them. We're talking about 80 residents at least, not counting the actual humans in them. These people are going to be impacted personally for 2 years in the construction of this project. We need to be there for them. We need to hear their concerns, hear their desires, hear their requests. I've done this more times than I can count. Community meetings for the overall community and neighborhood meetings for your immediate abutters. We talk about the design. Do they have concerns about the color, the sight lines, the shadows that it might create that they didn't have in their backyard previously? Then we talk about construction, mitigating the noise, the dust. If we have work to do on a weekend, we want them to know about it. It's all about communication and building trust with these people. We want to be partnered with them. We want them to know they can come to us anytime for anything, and we will be listeners and responsive to their needs. We will do the standard project boards, flyers, letting them know the schedule, letting them know when something big is coming up. Like I said, weekend work, working in the street or something that might directly impact them. But being available to them, having that trust is going to be paramount in this entire construction process.
When working on an occupied construction site, we always need to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the school and the community. These next couple of slides will show you W.T. Rich's commitment to providing a safe work site and our awareness of what the school will need to function throughout the construction process. At W.T. Rich, safety is our #1 priority. Safety inside the fence for the workers and safety outside of the fence for the students, staff, and community members. In a few minutes, we're going to be showing you a short animation which shows our vision of how this project could be constructed. Every decision we made while building our site logistics and phasing drawings started with, how can we do this safely? Our dedication to safety does not just start and end with our site fence. W.T. Rich has a proven track record of high safety standards on all of our projects, with 0 incidents involving any students, staff, or community members. Some of the biggest challenges we often face while working on a occupied site. Sorry, a little nervous. Working on an occupied site or site separation, traffic and parking, construction nuisances being dust and noise, and making sure we don't disrupt your daily flow. In a few minutes, we're going to show you that site logistics animation where you will see that we put every effort into making our site separate from the school's most commonly used areas. We keep your current bus and parent pickup and drop off routes the same up until we get to the point in the project where we're about to demo the existing North Intermediate School. We already have designated locations on site for contractor parking, so you won't have to worry about them trying to occupy neighboring streets or sneak into the teacher's parking lot. We're gonna have our construction entrance off of Ballardville Street with our gate set back from the main road. This way, any workers or delivery trucks who get to site before me, which never happens, will be able to queue up until the gates open without causing any sort of traffic disruption back on the main road. We also have a couple ideas on how to help mitigate or at least lessen construction dust, and we plan on being very strict with construction noise happening before or after our agreed upon working hours. And lastly, but probably the most important thing, is our goal of not disrupting your daily flow. Now, all of this is achievable through open lines of communication and planning between W.T. Rich, the school, and the OPM. Now let's dive into our site logistics animation, and I'll walk you through what we have here for a vision of constructing this project for you. So we're looking to get on site late July 2026. The yellow represents our safety fence. So we get on site, we're gonna strip all the topsoil, export that. We're gonna construct a contractor parking lot, get our site trailers in place. Most importantly, this is when we relocate your existing playground to the south side of your parking lot, right by the entrance, so the kids can continue to use it. When we get into configuration number 2, please note, traffic patterns are still the same. So myself, Davida, John, we actually came by, 2 different times with permission to witness the, traffic patterns. This way, when we were developing these plans, we would make sure we would not disrupt your current traffic flow. And like I said, our entrance is up here, just north of your parking lot. So, this is our work zone for configuration 2. Please note, it doesn't change for some time now. So when we get on site, we're gonna be using as many underground utilities as we can before the site gets too congested with a lot of the contractors. But we're gonna be starting foundations in the north, then going south, then working east. And we're gonna keep that flow for the entire project. Now, when we get into configuration number 3, which you see right here, work zone is the same. Your traffic patterns are still unaffected. So this is when we get into, this is February 2027, we get into steel erection. So same flow, north, south, east. Once a building is fully erected, we're gonna wrap it for the winter so we can place slab on deck during the colder months. Once we have concrete on the slabs, that opens up everything. Roofs, exterior framing, interior rough, MEP. And while everything is going on in the building, we're still working around the site. We're still getting all the immediate roads in. We're trying to get as much landscaping, site finishes, the playgrounds, trying to get as much in as we can, because we know we have this tight window here. So this gets us all the way to configuration number 4. So this is a real challenge right here. We got 2 months, the work zone's the same. At this point, we're still up in the north, trying to get as much done as we can, but it's also this time when we enlarge the site. This is when we take over the entire campus. It's at this point that we're gonna take your old bus loop as our new construction entrance and exit. So this is when we get onto the south side of the site. We're gonna strip the loom, same as the north. We're gonna relocate our site trailers. Now there's gonna be a big push to get this roundabout in right here on the south side of the school, and an access road that we come up with off of Salem Street. Demo will go west to east, pretty much pushing them right out the gate. So once the demo is cleared, we can tighten our site up. You'll see it'll come right down. We'll now just be working on the south side of the site. And this is where it changes. So now your traffic patterns have changed. So we got the buses coming in off of Ballardvale Street, right? Same, go using the permanent bus loop. Parents are coming in on Salem Street, hitting the turnaround, coming back out. We're still using your old bus loop for our construction entrance. Now our work zone is just in the south. So at this point, same thing, getting all the underground utilities in, under the parking lot. We're getting everything ready for you so we can turn over this part of the park to you in December. So you have the playground, the parking lots to use in December. Now we're into the winter months, so we're gonna disappear for a little bit. We'll come back in the spring. We'll finish any landscaping, site finishes that might remain. And then come June of 2029, we hand over this new campus to you guys.
Awesome, great stuff. Great stuff.
All right, so strategic priority number 3 is schedule. The schedule is important for any project, but specifically for schools, we know the schedule is of utmost importance. It cannot be delayed. You have to open up a school on time, right? So we have looked through a few things I'm going to present to you tonight. Schedule highlights. We have assessed the schedule. We have validated it. This schedule can be met. We're going to go through exactly how we're going to achieve that. We're going to go through our project experience, as well as some options that we think we can get you in for full school occupancy all at once. So what you see here is, this is our roadway to success for this project. I'm gonna jump right into it. If we're fortunate enough to choose out to the CM, we're gonna jump into it day 1. Notice to proceed, this full team is ready for pre-construction. We're gonna jump right into it. That's gonna be setting the budget. Tim and his team is gonna talk about. We're gonna get into the logistics that Dan just spoke about. Sherry's team is also gonna be getting involved in the support the vote right away. We know how important that is to the community. In that September town meeting, the vote passes, we immediately jump into design. We saw your design durations. We know we can't maintain them, and we're gonna take the lead on making sure we do. Then when we get into actual shovels in the ground, the first one is our early ERP number 1 for our mobilization. That's gonna be site enabling. Our proposal has detailed schedule on it. I'm not gonna waste everybody's time on it right now, but just know that July 2026 is when we're first getting the shovel in the ground. Then we're gonna move to foundations. That's getting awarded in September. And then shovel in the ground and first the foundations in December of 2026. And that's when it starts moving really, really fast. Foundations to substantial completion, 19.9 months. That is a fast track schedule. Are we scared of that fast track schedule? Absolutely not. That is 100% achievable. That is literally what WT Rich does. I'm gonna get into that further in another slide. Once we get to the completion of the building, what that is going to be summer of 2020, the big summer slammer. At that summer, gonna assist you in vacating the North Intermediate School. We're gonna begin expediting the demolition and abatement. It is all going to be completed in the summer of 2028. So when you're coming back in the 2028-29 school season, demo of the building is completed. During that same summer slammer, we are proposing a July 14th, 2028 building occupancy. Then teachers can move in August, but that's gets you your furniture, your IT. We're saying full building occupancy by July of 2028. During that same summer, we're gonna finish up the bus loops, the parent loop that Dan just spoke about. We're gonna get you into that building and then finish up the parking in the roadways by the end of 2028 of December. And then, as Dan mentioned, spring planting is coming back in 2029. That is our roadway to success on this project. What you see here is two key metrics that we track for a fast track or aggressive projects. Foundation, the start of substantial completion, trade contract award to substantial completion. We are at 19.9 months. We think that's fast track. 17.9 for trade contractor to substantial completion. Again, it's on the aggressive side. As you can see, it's what we do. We are not scared of a schedule like this, but we just wanted to bring that forward and be transparent about it. So again, our experience on it. We have 33 fast track projects under our belt at WT Rich. 21 of them are schools. 100% of them we have handed over on time. 100% of them. An example here is Manchester Memorial Elementary School. As you can see here, this is right as foundations are going to start. This is the exact same image, exact same drone image, 22 months later, but we had 2 phases of construction here. Wing 1, foundation substantial completion, 11 months. Wing 2, exact same thing, 11 months, 82,000 square feet. Again, this is something that we're very, very experienced of and are not scared to turn that on. So how do we do that? We have lean construction practices. We're very experienced with lean construction. Resourcefulness. We're being proactive with all our subcontractors and getting them involved. I really just want to talk about this accountability. We make commitments to ourselves on the schedule. We make commitments to others, to the community, to the board, to everybody in town. And really setting that accountability and commitments really, as a team is going to help us meet this fast track project. Thank you. All right, so I did speak about getting a full building occupancy. I know the design shows that there isn't enough parking. We have to achieve the parking once we demo out the North Intermediate School. We're thinking outside the box here for you. So I'm presenting 2 different options. Parking option A, we think we can put some temporary parking in here to get you 150 plus spaces. And how we do that is going to be, as you see with this section right here, this is temporary parking, but we also feel we can get your permanent parking up and running to shorten our site fence and get you into the building. This way pre-K through 5 can all come in 2028. There's some cost impacts to this, but we can go through them in the second part. And option B, you're up on the north side. Same thing, it's going to get you 140 spaces. The only negative on this is that we're going to have to come back in 2029 to finish off the site. So there's pros and cons to each option. Again, around the same cost, 88,000 is what we're thinking. But again, we want to think outside the box and show you what we're looking at to get you in the building all at once. Last slide for me is just you threw us a curveball last community meeting that the playground moved over here for some of our comments, but we just want to say, we're already adapting to that. We plan to adapt to many more things and many more curveballs thrown our way. So with that, Tim's going to walk through some of the budget.
Great job, Mike. Hi, everyone. I'm here to talk about meeting the budget, but more importantly, delivering value into your school. Okay, so first, I want to touch on our budget philosophy and our approach. These 7 boxes here, they're all kind of identifying different things, but this is apart from our competition. And so I'm just going to run through these quickly here. First off, our estimating process. We're reasonably conservative. We're not unnecessarily conservative. All too often, construction managers, they have a reputation of being overly conservative, and that's taking value out of your school unnecessarily. Once the bids come in, it's too late. In our quest to be the best construction manager, we've launched an extensive cost tracking system. We track every public construction project in Eastern Massachusetts. We use that data to benchmark our cost estimates to ensure we're hitting the mark. We want to have a comprehensive understanding of your project. And what I mean by that is not just what's on the documents, but what's not on the documents. Things like logistics that Dan went through, inferred work. There's costs there. You need to capture it early on so we So when those bids come in, we're on budget. DaVita hit on our experience. I won't talk about it again. It's unmatched compared to our competition. We have a strong loyal following of contractors. What I'm talking about here is that each design iteration, we put the project out to them, out to the subcontractors. They provide budget estimates at each design iteration as well. They're anxious to get involved in the projects. And we use that data as well to benchmark our own cost estimates. Again, just another way to check that we're delivering that project on budget. Best overall value. This is the big one here. This is really what I want you to hone in on. When we talk about best overall value and value back into your project, our indirect costs, these are the costs below the line, things like bonds and insurance. The firm has a great reputation. We have low bond and insurance costs. We pass that savings back to you, and you'll find those costs consistently lower than our competition. So this is dollars and cents back into your school that you're not paying unnecessarily. Finally, value management. Sometimes our estimates, they don't meet the budget. So we're very skilled at delivering multiple options to bring the project back in on budget. Your budget really is our budget. So much so, I'm gonna hand out for you after this. We've got $5.4 million in ideas here. You've asked us in the RFP to put something together, so got a little sampling on the board here. Before I get into that, we assessed your budget with our market data. We came up at 135.1 million, 819 a square foot, very close to your budget, the 136 at 824 a square foot. Tariffs, we're all thinking about the tariffs these days in the news, up and down, what's happening. We're proactively tracking them and already talking to our suppliers and our subcontractors. You guys remember breathe. But there's a lot going on out there and we're actively tracking it and we're working together to mitigate those risks on all of our projects. Jump into some VE here. So this is just a sampling what I'm going to pass out in a moment here. But here, you have a lot of money going into your soils underneath the building slab. What's going on there? They're removing a bunch of soils, shipping it off site. There could be potentially some alternatives such as ground improvements, things like that, where we could really save some money at getting out of the ground. And that's somewhere where you're not going to see any change, no change to the durability of your school, the programming. Down here, this hazmat. We see this all the time in the hazmat reports. This one here is about damp proofing on the foundation walls in the old schools. School of this vintage, it doesn't always exist. So one of the things this is the reason you hire us as a construction manager. Get out there ahead of it, site investigations, dig a couple holes and confirm it's actually there or not. If it's not there, it's $837,000 of program we can put back into your school for your kids. So I'll pass these out after. Everyone hit this. WT Rich has successfully delivered 100% of our MSBA projects on budget. Thank you.
Just to take it back to our relevant experience and then on some of the differentiators that we offer. Sustainability. This is again something that we feel like we've got the leading edge on many of our competitors. We have completed 34 sustainable building projects with another baker's dozen in the oven. 24 of those were LEED certified projects, with 3 of them being LEED Platinum. We were actually able, in 2016, when LEED version 4 first came out, to construct the first LEED Platinum school in Massachusetts, the second in the country. We've also constructed the first net zero school in the state of Massachusetts. We've completed 11 all-electric buildings, some of them with, some of them without geothermal. Again, with the CM at risk and being involved early, we are used to working with the design team for material specifications to make sure that we meet not only the LEED requirements, but the Mass General Law bidding requirements. Work with that same design team on super insulated envelope details, making sure we understand how it's all coming together, thermal breaks, and that it's very clearly detailed. So when we procure it, we are getting what we asked for. Again, this is just something we do and an experience we want to bring to your town to ensure that you achieve your sustainability goals. So, despite our best efforts, we hear from our clients, from other CM's clients, and now from the MSBA that the biggest difficulty they have is the end user at the end of the project being able to properly manage and maintain their building. Let's be honest, these buildings are not what they used to be. Simple boiler, pushing water, steam through some pipes, lighting control systems that were just a flick of a switch. We don't have that anymore. These buildings are technologically advanced, and it takes a certain finesse and training to be able to properly operate them, not only for function, but for proper performance. With all of that in mind, WT Rich developed the Building Performance for Owners program. We call it BPO for short. This is three-phase program that we take from pre-construction all the way post-occupancy. Three phases: prepare, perform, maintain. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the first two now, but we can talk about it later during Q&A if you'd like, but I wanna focus on the maintain. So you've achieved substantial completion, you guys are occupying the building. We do not go anywhere for the next 3 years. Year number one, WT Rich and the installing subcontractors are performing your preventative maintenance with you, hand in hand, making sure you are seeing what we're doing, understanding it. We're working with the manufacturers for annual inspections and things of that nature. Additional training as necessary, monitoring data, trending, making sure the building is performing as intended. We will be there with you. Years 2 and 3, we don't disappear. We still check in with you quarterly, make sure things are going right, trend the data, make sure things are performing correctly, work with the manufacturers on your annual inspections, make sure you guys got what you asked for and paid for. We are there to ensure this happens. As a bonus, there is no additional cost from WT Rich for this 3-year service.
Okay, we are coming down the home stretch. I'm just gonna talk quickly about core differentiators. For these presentations, WT Rich, we always struggle a little bit. We have so much content we wanna cover. We're like, what can't we talk about? What do we gotta get in here? So this is kind of the list of the things we would have loved to have talked about, given a little bit more time. They're still incredibly important. I will say each one of these items we talk about in our written proposal, right? And we really try to go and describe the details of those items. In each one of these, I would say WT Rich, we take a lot of pride. We believe we have differentiated capabilities. Each of these, you know, whether it's a really robust pre-construction, kind of state-of-the-art, construction safety program and industry-leading, quality control program, we call it Focus 5. We're using a lot of construction technology. We didn't get to talk to you about open space, which is very cool technology for doing a 3D capture. We do it twice a week, and then you end up having a digital twin of your building. There's a lot more there. It is in our written proposal. I do want to talk quickly about student engagement. Every school project we have, it's an opportunity for us as a CM to figure out creative ways to, how do you want to engage your schools, your students, whether it's the neighboring or intermediate school where you want to expose those kids, site tours, or we sometimes do some classroom visits and things of that nature. Or if you want to, even if it's the high school students or middle school students, we're really open to like, what do you want to do? We've done a ton of programs. Again, some of the examples of programs we've done are in our written proposal. We're just wrapping up. Again, kind of a recap of why WT Rich. We really do believe we have the most relevant experience in terms of the public focus, schools, occupied construction, support the vote. The whole project team, led by Sherry and others, are really gonna work in partnership. Look, none of us are satisfied if we have an adverse result of the vote, right? But we're gonna put our heart and soul into that. Talked about this team being very talented. Tim talked about the best overall value. That's something we take really seriously. Again, I always say every dollar that isn't spent or reserved for an indirect cost is another dollar available for your school, for your direct costs. And that's where we want the money to go. Partnership is in our DNA. And then if we're lucky enough to be selected by you, you will experience that we are tangibly driven by our vision here to be the best. And we'll bend over backwards in pursuit of that vision. And the last thing is, look, we know you're ready to go. We know you're ready to make a decision really quickly. And if there's any doubts about whether this team is chomping at the bit and ready to go, we're 100% ready. When you say go, I sometimes say, if you just nod at me like you have the job, the paperwork will fall off. We'll be like, we're off to the races. We're ready to go. So we're now opening up to your questions. Did the best we could on time. There wasn't too much.
I think you did pretty well on time, and I think because of how we started this interview, we never even introduced ourselves.
I
So I'm gonna start, I'm gonna go this way and all the way to the end, and then Paul's gonna start with his question. So my name is Julie Leduc. I am the owner's project manager from SMMA, and to my left,
Marion Galezzo, I'm on the finance committee and the Wildwood School Project.
and to my right.
I'm Eric Slagle, the town manager. Lee Dorr with Dorr and Revere.
Paul Ruggiero, Assistant Superintendent, Administration and Finance for the schools.
We're gonna sit down. I don't know.
Paul's gonna
Now
jump
we're
in with
having
his
a
first question.
conversation.
Again, thank you, it was a very, very good presentation. Based on the initial review of the first schematic report, you identify three major challenges you see in that project and your approach to helping us manage those challenges.
Well, I think, what we identified as the strategic priorities, right? Getting the project word out, making sure the town is aware of it in a positive manner, making sure the vote goes positively in the fall. And then community manage beyond that, right? Just because the project moves forward does not mean that we stop that. We have to continue to manage their expectations. I think that alone takes a lot of effort and is quite the challenge, especially if we have folks that are resistant to the project. As we said, number two, schedule. I think. Occupied construction then schedule, sorry, I have them out of order. Working on occupied school or occupied campus is always difficult. As we've said, we've done this numerous times. Over half of our projects are, occupied sites. But again, it gets back to the communication and the trust. And when we tell you we're going to do something or commit to a certain approach, we need to stick by that and make sure that we follow through and trust. It's all about trust and communication. Schedule. Which I think Mike did a great job summarizing it. It is a fast track project. It's not outside of our realm of possibility to complete. We actually think that it's very achievable, word that he used quite often. I think those are the three largest challenges for the project. There certainly are some others. No project comes with just three. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they did? But we're prepared to handle anything that you throw at us.
Thank you.
Mary Ann?
Anything else?
Yeah, I think mine were all answered.
Project manager, project superintendent, what would be a specific problem that arose in a project and how would you resolve it? Past experience.
Dan, right? Pick one. You got 100.
Well, I know you guys are conscientious about the neighbors. No matter how good of a job you do, there's always something. And usually what it comes down to is communication. So just from all of our experience, and I've come from 3 jobs now in Cambridge. So they're right on our back door pretty much. We come with a bunch of different ways to do it. School website that they can log on, see what's coming up. We have bulletin boards posted around all the site fence, so you can easily get it from the sidewalk. We've done door-to-door mailers, just drop stuff in the mailbox. It just always seemed that no matter what it was just because they didn't know it was happening. So it's usually very minor and something they can easily handle. And once we tell them what's going on and they realize that they can just go to the bulletin board and see like the 4-week schedule or, you know, heavy equipment's another one, like as you strip the soil, big equipment moving, you feel it, right? So if they don't know about it, they get worried. But if it's there and you can see the schedule and see the site logistics, how everything's moving, it usually works itself out. And we've always come up very good with that.
Mike, you wanna throw another?
Yeah, I'll throw in a challenge. Just talking with the schedule and how, expedited this one is some contracted performance. That's what we're here for. That's what you hire us for. And I'm gonna go back to the accountability and being proactive with them. We're gonna make sure that we're representing for the town, we're representing for the school and the community. And I'm gonna make sure that we're being proactive with these subcontractors to eliminate any issues that they may have, whether it's quality control, meeting schedule. We're just gonna make sure we get ahead of that. And that's a major problem with some projects that we're really good at eliminating.
Yeah, we mentioned lean briefly too, but
Yep.
with the lean process, it really elevates the accountability of the subs.
Yep.
Because we're working with sort of smaller batches, we're doing these pull plans that have more specific, and the subs are coming together, and in the lean process, the much more collaborative process, instead of the CM dictating, this is the way it's gonna be, we say, here's where we need to be, how do we get there? We work together, and more importantly, they're making commitments as subs to each other. They'll have that ready, I'll have this area ready for you and that, and then we have weekly one-on-one meetings with each sub, called Make Ready meetings. And that communication, it really strengthens the accountability, because it's like, oh, you're supposed to be done with this area by this time, and what happened, and it really allows us to react very quickly if there starts to be slippage. I sometimes say, you know, managing subs is like herding cats. You guys probably haven't heard that one before. But we like to think we really have a strong capability and really good relationships with our subs as well.
Professional cat herders, I can attest to that. Just real quick question. One of the things that's on all of our minds is just out there in the future, the uncertainty, and how are you guys kind of looking in your crystal ball, dealing with like tariffs and that kind of uncertainty out there? It's a big deal. And kind of, what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I can take that
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
Love to address it. Thanks for the good question. It's a lot to take in right now, right? So news, you know, and tariffs get announced, then, you know, it seems like a couple days later they get canceled. There was just more on steel. What we're seeing, the market has stabilized post pandemic, right? We're even seeing some prices come back down. Things are generally trending down, or maybe just very moderate growth. The MEP trades lately we've seen a lot more competition within the market, with the private sector drying up a little bit. So more competition is driving those prices down further. We're still catching up with it. So all in all, I mean, you think about the tariffs, we're talking about imported goods on just the actual materials, not the labor. So we're trying to capture it, but overall, I don't think it's gonna be a massive, we're not gonna see a 25% increase to your project costs, but, I think we're talking about single digit potential impact, but with the increased competition, with the private side slowing down, it could offset. And, people are looking for work right now, so they may be willing to absorb some of those costs.
Good deal, thanks.
I just want to add something to that too. So the beginning part might make you feel less comfortable, okay? But there's a lot of uncertainty there, right? Like, so if tariffs get implemented, they could not only could they have a direct cost on materials, but they could cause generally higher inflation in our economy, right? Meanwhile, as you may know, a lot of government workers seem to be opting out or maybe getting laid off. That could promote a recession, right? And so then, and we're gonna be looking for work and prices could come way down. The most important thing to do though, is for us, constantly keep our fingers on the pulse, okay? I'm gonna tell you, we don't have a better crystal ball for this project doesn't bid for the full construction for almost 2 years, right? We're not gonna pretend like we have a crystal ball that can tell you what happens 2 years from now. Okay, if you find someone who does that, that's great. Don't hire them because they're lying to you. But what we're gonna do is keep our fingers on the pulse every step of the way. And that means as soon as we start hearing, oh, these contractors are concerned about this price is going up. And remember, we're doing all these estimates along the way. The first estimate, Lee, right, the SD, going to the MSBA, getting the funding amount, telling the town how much the project is gonna cost. In some ways, that's the most important estimate, right? And then we wanna be, as we said, reasonably conservative. We don't wanna just put a huge fat number on it. Anyone can do that, right? That doesn't serve the town very well. So, but then, time to do the next estimate, we're checking, we have our finger on the pulse. If something goes up, we gotta look at some value management and cost savings. Maybe there's a couple discretionary items that were nice to have, we gotta look at those and pull them back. Hey, the market goes the other way, maybe we have a few bid alternates, and then when we actually get the bidding, we can accept those. So I think that finger on the pulse, and we're doing that already. The head of DCAM, Capital Projects, Jay Mitchell, reached out to me and said, can you tell us what you think about the tariffs? We were already looking at it, and we put together a report for him. That report's only a snapshot of what we're seeing and hearing right now. So
It was last week, it's already changed.
yeah. So I just, the thing is, we're really gonna keep it. We're just not gonna wait for the next design iteration. We're gonna always be keeping our finger on the market.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your time today. It was a great presentation. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Perfect job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you like these potential cost saving options?